This is Q&A with the ShoddyCast with your hosts Kyle and
Josh.
Hi Josh, how you doing today?
Good. How are you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing
Yeah,
fabulous.
We're not using this. That was the worst thing.
I'm drunk, leave me alone.
Okay, go ahead. Whenever you're ready.
Alrighty.
Whenever you're ready, number one.
Brooks, is it or ditch, do you think? I hope it's or ditch.
Or ditch. Yeah.
Is it or dick?
I don't know. Don't read people's last names. It's only
Sorry.
gonna offend them.
Okay, Brooks. Hi ShoddyCast. Just watched your video 21 Reasons to be Interested in ESO. I will admit I was a skeptic. After watching it, however, I'm pretty convinced I was to try the game out. My only concern is the 200 players at one time idea. Success in many MMOs means catering to as many people as possible, even though WoW is very cartoonish and out of date in its graphics. A lot can be said for its accessibility and playability. You can run WoW on a toaster, lol. And as such, it allows more people to fully experience the game. Do you feel that the 200-player massive battles will limit the experience of some players? What would you say the minimum specs would be? And would you lean more towards the game being CPU intensive or GPU? LOL. And if I ask too many questions, let me know.
Yes.
Wink
Way
with a
too
tongue
many.
out.
No.
Smiley.
No, we're Americans. We believe.
We're Americans.
We believe.
We question everything.
Yeah, exactly. Overabundance.
Except
of
how many
questions
calories are
good.
in this burger.
Yes. Never.
That's why we're fat.
We don't care.
All right. So I guess the first question, or sort of
the first question was the 200 players at one time, and
limit the experience of some players.
Will it limit?
I'm assuming he means will that limit some players based on their specs of their computers?
Yeah,
so like will they experience more lag,
a bunch
I guess?
of lag and stuff.
Alright, so the developers have been saying since the beginning when they were announcing the whole 200-player massive battle thingies that,
those thingies, the battles, where the people die and millions are murdered. Yeah, those
they're keeping lag in mind, like, that is their priority, is to balance between the graphics and latency. So that's why some things people are saying look cartoonish and somewhat, but they have been saying that, yes, they have had to limit their graphic capability. Obviously, they can go all out if they wanted to, but they have to limit it so that people can have 200 players or whatever. So you'll see that the environment will be very detailed, but then when it comes to the character models, they may be a little bit less so.
See, that's going to be tough for me. I wish if I had the computer to handle it that I would be able to crank it up to where even the character models looked better, but I don't know.
But that's the thing, though, because they said that the amount of scalability in the game is going to be immense.
Like somebody with a kick-ass gaming PC such as myself will be able to freaking
you can turn it all the way up, so you'll have a lot, more detailed game. But then you'll be able to, go all the way to the opposite end of the spectrum and play with some 5-year-old
laptop,
low-end laptop or something like that.
Ugh, why would you do that to yourself? No, totally though. I agree, because actually when I played my first real MMO, was RuneScape, but World of Warcraft was on a really crappy laptop and should not have been able to play any game whatsoever, but it was able to play WoW. I was able to play it okay, and that's how I got hooked into really PC gaming as a whole, was World of Warcraft. But yeah, if you haven't guessed it, Kyle and I are primarily PC gamers ourselves. Yep. We got the big kick-ass gaming PCs and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like the contrast of, okay, you have this awesome environment, but then your character models are super, cartoony and stuff. I don't think they're overly cartoony. Some things seem to be a little imbalanced, like, I guess it was the Nord helmets they were showing with the horns. They were massive. They were huge.
They were so huge on the person's head, and
ridiculous.
The character model seemed really skinny.
Especially compared to the freaking massive head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the other thing I want to touch about how people were saying the graphics look kind of cartoony and stuff. Jesse Cox, who I know we bring up every once in a while, but he's one of the people that were able to play the pre-alpha.
Bastard.
Damn you, why wasn't it us? He was mentioning, he was like, what computer were these people using when they were taking this gameplay footage and showing it to everyone? Because the game he played was 1,000 times better looking to him than the gameplay footage they've been passing around.
Wow,
So-
that excites me a lot.
Yeah,
to hear you say that.
the stuff you're seeing, I guess, apparently don't take that at heart, because the graphics are apparently a lot better than what they've been showing.
Okay.
Maybe what they're showing is like the middle of the line, maybe, so that people will be like, wow, when they actually see the game. They'll be like, wow, this is a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Kyle, do you get the feeling? I have this creeping feeling more and more. ZeniMax is almost underselling their game.
Probably, and honestly, that is probably a good thing to do.
No, yeah, I would agree.
Because, a lot of games, just for a publicity standpoint, want to get their game out there, say it's the best thing ever, and then we have really high standards.
They can never live up to that.
Yes.
Never
like
in 1,000 years.
Mass Effect 3. So it's like...
No.
We're not going to... Okay.
We won't go into that.
That's a whole episode.
I love Mass Effect 3.
I know, I liked it too, but, well, the ending.
I like the ending too. Okay, no, that is on a whole nother video.
But it's just like, so maybe they're taking the other route. They're taking the low road. They're not going to oversell their game, overhype it. That's our job.
That's
I guess,
our
apparently.
job. Yeah,
Apparently,
us.
that's what we're doing.
We're supposed to do.
Even though we're not meaning to, but it's just kind of what's happening since
our tone,
we want to play the game.
Our own excitement leaks through into our videos. So.
But it seems that's kind of is what they're doing. They're being very vague about a lot of things. Maybe because they don't actually have the answers to some things yet, because it's still highly in development. But it seems that is what they're doing. They seem to be taking that road.
That would be a smart move, actually, because what are you gonna...
It'd be probably one of the first games that are doing that.
Oh yeah, no. But that excites me a lot to hear. And Jesse Cox, we know he's an honest guy and a really reliable source. So to hear him say that, that's great. I hope it is a lot more kick-ass, because even some of the screenshots I'm thinking of in my head right now, like the windmill and stuff. Like, well, you know what? The ones that aren't great are the ones that have the water in them. Like, I don't know, the water seems off. The icicles look
It seems too
crappy.
uniform. Like, water shouldn't be perfectly ripply everywhere. It seems like they took a texture and just slapped it on there.
Yeah, but again, pre-alpha, this game is still a year in development, so we're...
Yeah. All right, next question.
Oh, wait, what about this CPU or GP?
Oh, is it going to be like more your processor intensive or your graphics card intensive?
You're our local IT guy here, Kyle, so we'll go over to him.
I'm going to have to say it's going to be GPU intensive. Well, more so, but...
So graphics card.
Really, it's going to be up to the settings. I mean, you can push your system up to the limit if you want to, or you can back it down and possibly have a better gaming experience because of it, because you won't have to be dealing with client-side lag. When it comes down to server side, we don't know. With the whole mega server, we got to make sure and hope that it's implemented properly and that there's as little latency as possible. So I think when it comes to your computer, it's not going to be as big of an issue as it is their side, the server side. So
you know what you should do to be safe? You should withdraw $2,000 from your bank account, go to CyberPower PC, and there you go. Buy yourself a gaming rig.
Or find a nerdy friend who
knows
is
how to
familiar
build
with
them.
Newegg and builds it themselves like I did. All right.
Well,
next
now you're
question.
just bragging.
I know, right?
I can't
Oh, how did this get in here? Julian Durst. By the time ESO comes out, I have a feeling these guys are going to be huge in the gaming community.
Oh, wow. Oh, that must have slipped in on
Damn
accident.
straight. Oh, yeah. Oops, sorry about that.
We'll go ahead and move on. Okay, the Arabian Man.
Oh, no. Dean?
The Arabian Man. Hey, my mind
I should
jumbles.
be reading it.
I'm dyslexic. Okay, my mind jumbles things. Okay. Will there be a dual-wielding system like in Skyrim? Swords plus magic, magic plus magic, and all possible combinations.
All right, so here's the thing. Magic seems to not be involved. It won't take up a hand. Since they have the hotbar.
Okay, this is interesting. So we're looking at like Oblivion, where you could wield a shield and a sword and still cast spells.
Yeah, I'm thinking it is going to be more of the Oblivion thing.
So it won't be Skyrim where it went for the whole Bioshock, okay, equip this in that hand and that in this hand. as far as
exactly.
Okay.
Like you won't have to like pause the game to switch a spell into a different hand. That's basically what the hotbar is doing, is alleviating the need to have to pause the game to switch your spell and then cast it. And then resume the game and cast it or whatever.
Right.
So you have the hotbar that does that for you, and you have all those skills to use at your disposal.
5 of them. Right? Is it 5 skills?
It's 6.
6 skills?
But 2,
Okay.
the first 2 are bound to the weapon you're using.
I just want to make it clear, when we're talking about your hotbar, we're not talking about the old MMO, like you have 10 trillion skills and half of them you don't use.
2 line or like 4 lines on the bottom and 2 on each side.
Right.
It's not going to be like that. There's just because the whole UI is very minimalistic.
Very
so
lean.
The hotbar is only 6 skills. Your first 2 skills are going to be based on your weapon. So if you have a sword, you're going to have dual wielding swords. You're going to have a certain 2 skills there. Now, if you equip a staff, which is going to be different staffs, there's going to be a fire staff, an ice staff, I believe, a lightning staff, and a healing staff.
Ooh.
I think those are the 4. So again, whichever staff you have on you, that's going to tell you what your first 2 abilities are going to be.
Cool.
Then you have the sword and board, and there's supposed to be 2-handed weapons as well. So that's that.
Okay, interesting. I'm glad we cleared that up. Let us know what you guys think, though. Did you like the whole... Because this is something I fight with in my mind a bit, because I did like how Oblivion had shield, sword, and you can still cast magic. They were all on your hotkeys. Or Skyrim, which was definitely, I guess, more of a... Well, not necessarily more realistic, but... I don't know. It felt more visceral having...
Yes, because everyone can pause the universe to switch their spell.
Yeah, right. No. So what system did you appreciate, and are you glad that ESO went for more the Oblivion roots and more traditional MMO where you can still cast spells and stuff without having them equipped in your hands?
I personally like the hybrid.
You like the hybrid
approach because, you still have the very engaging combat from Skyrim, but then you have the MMO aspect with the little... hotbar. So it seems like the fights will be more engaging and more diverse because of that. So you have a lot more spells and skills at your disposal right then and there. So it makes it, like I said, more diverse. So it's not going to be the same thing over and over again. Alright. Chinese Kung Fu Kid. Is Elder Scrolls Online coming out for console, like for PS3 or Xbox 360? Because that would be very cool and awesome, etc.
How many of these comments are you going to get?
So, go ahead and take that one, sir.
A legit question, but no. We have yet to get an MMO to date that has been released for consoles, and ESO will be no different.
Yep.
We aren't getting it for consoles.
They say they're only developing the game for PC and Mac.
Yep, and I know a lot of test fans out there, well, I guess, I don't want to say less hardcore, that'll piss people off, but, no, not casual either, that'll still piss people off. Anyway, our console,
the kind of people that would prefer to
not have
while
mods,
sitting in their couch,
yeah,
chilling,
and not have mods and the wonderful world that it creates. But okay, yeah, those people, they will be disappointed. No, it's too bad. What do you think? Do you wish that they would release on consoles? I would, just because it would bring in a bigger audience. I have friends that play test games on consoles exclusively because they don't have gaming PCs. So I would love for them to be able to play it.
I don't know. With the hardware limitations you have,
there you go. That's true.
How would they handle 200 people on a screen at once?
Yeah.
It's like maybe for like the Xbox 720 and the PS4 that are coming out, I guess 2014 or something.
Something like
end of
that.
this year. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but maybe something like that. I mean, those are the next gen consoles. But even still, I don't see it working. But the other thing we were discussing, though, actually earlier today,
because that's what we do in our free time.
We talk about ESO.
We don't go to bars and meet girls. We talk about ESO.
Controllers. Will there be controller support with ESO?
Okay. Yes. No. Okay. Yes, I do remember discussing that.
Specifically, just say the Xbox 360 controller.
First of all, would it be possible? And my answer to that would be, yeah, most definitely. It would be possible to do.
Now, we don't know. ZeniMax hasn't said that they are going to be developing any support for the controller, but that's not keeping other third parties from making any kind of software that will let you do that. I mean, really, though, if you think about it, it's just a simple matter of binding keys to the controller.
For sure.
Because we were talking about this. ESO seems to be the only MMO that is reticle based, where, with other MMOs, you have to hold down your right mouse button to move the camera around.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do that, because anytime you're moving your mouse, you're moving the camera around.
Exactly.
To get the cursor up, you actually have to hold down the shift key. So that means that now you could use the left or the right joystick to move the camera around immediately. You don't have to worry about any conflicting controls because of no mouse button to hold down. So that's an interesting thing. That opens up this whole thing to be allowed to use the controller. And now also skills. We don't have this huge skill bar, or even the 10 skill bar with Guild Wars 2, because I have seen the controller thing for Guild Wars 2, and it was terrible.
Really?
And you were even saying about, what was it? WoW had some kind of controller.
Oh yeah, some guy mapped when the Wii first came out and it was a big thing. Some guy mapped WoW to be able to play on the Wii remote, and it was totally impractical. Neat, but completely and utterly impractical.
Yeah, and it was the same thing for the Guild Wars 2 thing. It just did not seem to work, mainly because you did have to hold down the right mouse button to move the camera and stuff. There was just too many conflictions, and then you had so many spells, even though it was only 10, but still too many for a controller. But now you're talking about only 6 skills, 2 of which are bound to your mouse buttons. So it's just simply moving those mouse buttons to your triggers, your dual triggers. That gets rid of 2. Then you only have 4 more. So take the first 3 and put those on maybe your X, Y, and B buttons. Leave A for jump, and then have your ultimate on the right bumper.
Yeah.
And then if there's maybe a dodge specific key, I'm not sure if they're actually going to have dodging in Guild Wars 2, but if they do, throw that on the left bumper, or vice versa with the ultimate. And then you'll have all your menu buttons you can put on the directional pad, the D-pad.
Mm-hmm.
So why couldn't you do that?
Yeah, no, I could. Okay, this is the thing that kills me. Let's think about the developers. How hard would it be for them to map a controller like that? That seems like something that would take an afternoon. I mean, it just doesn't seem very difficult. I know there's a certain program that you can actually download onto your some software you can get on your computer, where you can go in yourself and map keys from your keyboard onto your controller.
Yeah, Logitech, even if you have any of their stuff, they usually have a key mapper software built in, so you can
so easily it can be easily done, and I hope that ZeniMax will get off their lazy asses and just do it, because I would appreciate, seriously, sometimes
it's all about options.
Yeah, it is about options, and I know trust me, and I level with these PC gamers that say, without a doubt, the keyboard and mouse, and I always have argument with my buddy Ricky, who is a major console fanatic. He says, no, controller's always the way to go, Josh. There's no alternative. PC, forget it. No, the PC keyboard and mouse is always going to be the most precise, and from a competitive standpoint, is superior to the controller in every single respect. That's why you have that's why in console games they have to cheat. When you're aiming at enemies, it kind of does this auto lock thing.
Right.
It's because it's not precise at all. You can't get the same precision with a controller that you can with the mouse. But the thing I love that the controller has that I can never get with the mouse and keyboard is the ability to just kick it back, relax, lean back in my chair, and just play with the controller, from across the room or something. So I don't know. It's about, like you said, it's about options, and I would appreciate that option. But man, we took that question, we ran with it, and ended up on the far side. Yeah, but
so honestly, I would not mind seeing controller support. I probably wouldn't use it, though maybe I will if I'm going out just exploring. I'm not really doing anything necessary like PvP or whatever else.
Right.
If I'm just going and collecting stuff,
competitively demanding.
If I'm just farming or something, I would rather sit and chill back with my controller and just do that. I mean, I honestly play Skyrim with my controller.
Oh yeah, me too.
I prefer it with controller.
Yep. I play a lot of my PC games. I'll play with a controller just because it's more comfortable than being hunched over a keyboard and a mouse, Unless you have one of those kick-ass, what are those gaming chairs?
Dude, yes. They don't lean back. They roll back.
Yeah.
They're on rollers and they lean back, and you have your keyboard sitting on a tray and stuff with a mouse and speakers behind your head. And I'm like, what? I want one of those.
In a couple years, when the ShoddyCast is
someone get
more
us one of those and mail it to us.
Yeah. We need a couple 100,000 views on our video. Here,
on each video.
On each video, right? To get one of those. But,
oh, man. Yeah. All right. So,
was that our last question?
For this episode, yes, sir.
Alrighty. Well, this has been the ShoddyCast. I've been Josh.
And I've been Kyle.
Later.
Bye.